Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to this shorter version of the Shelly Show where we talk about what is artificial intelligence. First of all, why do we have this series? We have this series because what we found is that when you go to Twitter and type artificial intelligence, people talk about robots. But is that it all about? So I want to know what is your point of view? Yes, what do you think is artificial intelligence? And this is a platform where I bring in people from all walks of life to come in and share their point of view on what is artificial intelligence. So there is only one common question that we ask on the series, that is, what is artificial intelligence? So if you've got a point of view on what is artificial intelligence, like our guest today, then all you need to do is send me a direct message and I will bring you in. Okay, without any more delays, let me bring in our guest tonight. Our guest today is Sreevani Konda, all the way from USA. So let me bring her in. But before that, before I bring her in, please, please, please retweet this video so more and more people can learn from her point of view. Share this, like it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please share this video with as many people as possible. And also, don't forget to follow me if you're watching on Twitter. If you're watching me on YouTube, please subscribe the channel and also like and share this video. So, without any further ado, let me bring in Sreevani Konda all the way from US. Hi, Sreevani, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you, Shelly?
Very, very good. Sreevani, please, please, please introduce yourself for the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I am Sreevani Konda. I'm co-founder of Alice Software. Here at Alice, like we do a lot of data analytics work, which of course involves a lot of AI when it comes to the predictive side of it and prescriptive analytics that goes in there. So we help a lot of public sector clients and also private sector clients here in the data initiatives. They can setting up the strategy for data and also implementing. They can either creating data warehouses, data lakes, and building their analytical needs to be done. So that's all we do here. All data.
Good stuff, good stuff. So, Shivani, this series is all about what is artificial intelligence. So, in your point of view, what is artificial intelligence? Please share that with the audience.
Yeah, of course, definitely. Like, from my point of view, what I view artificial intelligence is the cognitive ability of human mind, if that can be mimicked using computer algorithms or whatever it is. So it is mimicking how human would make a decision. Like, similarly, if a computer can do it, like, that is an intelligence created like an artificially with the help of computers. So like, if I break it down, like, I look at it as there is external data that is perceived in various manners, like, either it is data received directly or as an image or as a voice or the sound or whatever it is, and be able to capture that information and process it, and be able to act upon it is like in a nutshell. But lot of times, like, it is an algorithm that is written by computer programmers to say, hey, in this situation you behave like this, rather than that. In our AI world, the computer learns by observing similar situations that happened before. So it can learn, improve over time, like there is no human intervention needed. So I think it is a pretty powerful tool, like, if you look at it in this changing world.
Good stuff. Thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you for that explanation. For me, it is mimicking human behavior and intelligence is what is AI, and I oversimplify it at times. But thank you for your explanation. Okay, any use case that comes to mind when you're talking about AI? Please
Yeah,
share.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think, like, there are before I get into the specific use case, like, why now, right? Like, the AI has been there since 1950s, initially when it was thought through. But over the last 10-15 years is when there is a humongous growth in terms of that area, and a lot of advancements, and everything that you see has an AI component to it. So why is that? Right, there are multiple factors. One is we are able to store the data much more efficiently and in a large scale, that is one. The other one is the availability of the data itself, having sensors and other ways of capturing data, that is improved quite a bit. And lot of algorithms have been created with taking this as an opportunity. And the other one is more open sourced methodology that is followed as well. So all of that helped improve AI quite a bit. So when it comes to the use cases, and I would say the use cases range from the customer experience to improving a product or a service, versus improving the process of how you handle supporting functions, or anything that you do. So it is widespread. So a couple of examples that I would take is in a general household items. Every gadget you see is an intelligent gadget. So it has some capability to connect to internet, to be able to communicate, and auto correct, calibrate itself. So for example, I have rotimatic, which is pretty cool tool. Over the time it learns on how, what your preferences are, what is the feedback that you're giving to it, as simple as that smaller device that I'm talking about, to even vacuum cleaners and stuff, like an iRobot. I bought it probably 8 or 10 years ago. At that time it was really inconvenience, because it would stop frequently and say, I have an obstruction in my way, can you clear it out? But now it knows exactly the path to traverse, how do I go about. um and Alexa, Siri, all of that have become the household staple, the gadgets that everybody has. So in addition to that, the more serious note, in the medical field is one of the greatest thing, right? Where you can look at multiple images, whether it is x-rays, and be able to look at the diagnosis much more accurately, be able to pinpoint a little bit more accurately. So I think in the medical field, there are a lot of advantages, even wearable gadgets that you have, where your the pulse is checked, what is your vitals at that time. And there are a lot of advancements in that area, as crazy as it sounds, there is a I think soon there is going to be a smart toilet, where you don't, which will which will replace the laboratory, going there, rather it can sense your levels of the and communicate to the doctors, and communicate out where it is necessary. So that is on the medical side. I think creative side, if I look at it, I have seen a lot of even artwork, whether it is a painting or a music composition, that can be done based on studying various famous paintings before, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I have seen a couple of those examples. And the other thing is for a clothing catalog or whatever, in any promotional catalog, rather than hiring the model, whatever it is, you can, by looking at the various catalogs, it can create images that mimic exactly like a human there. And you can create catalog with no human intervention at all. So that is from an art perspective. But I think the more close to me, couple of use cases I would talk about is more on the automobile side. um, so where self-driving is he is there, right? Like, I own a Tesla. Like, initially it was scary, like, to be able to let it the self drive, but that it has a lot of cameras, it is assessing continuously, like, it is making the right choice. It does monitor what is the speed limit, like, you get much more control over it, right? And the other one, like, that I can mention is more towards, like, on the transportation side, like, if there are roads that are bad, like, there are pit holes or whatever it might be, you
Mhm.
don't have to wait for somebody to manually inspect and report the road condition. In
Absolutely.
a Like, there are cameras that can be fit into these vehicles that are running in there. You analyze the pit hole, like, and identify it before it becomes a bigger thing, like, and you handle it right then and there, right? So I would say the applications are there everywhere, like, from common household to watch it whichever field you take. And given, like, even in a general household, you have capability to ask a question instantaneously and get an answer instantaneously. I think even business perspective, you would expect the same. Like, ideally, any business you take, you should be able to ask a question in plain English.
Yep.
Like, NLP can be used, and the machine does, like, all the magic, and like underneath it converts it back to the human like language
Mhm.
and communicate in a very human friendly, like, way. I think, like, these are all great examples, and only thing that I would add here is, I think it is not the technology that need to be improved or whatever it is. I think it is more of a people aspect, right? Like,
Yeah.
people be able to adopt AI, like, is one thing, and the lot of policies catching up to it. For example, like, you are on the road, like, there is a self-driving car that is going on. So if it has to make a decision of putting the owner at risk versus saving a pedestrian,
Mhm.
as a owner, your decision might be a little bit different than what an ethical decision might be. But does everybody agree upon that ethical decision? Like, what decides that, right? What is
Mhm.
the policy that is governing? Like, and consider about, like, there is a old man crossing the road versus, like, there is a child crossing the road, like, like, which one you consider. So there are, I think, a lot of policy adoption, like, items that are there ahead of us, that need to be solved for us to fully, like, use AI to full capacity.
Yep, good stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you for the use cases. I think there are some very interesting use cases out there on artificial intelligence, and you've nailed a few of them. Thank you very much for your time, Srivani. I look forward to speaking to you.
Absolutely, like,
And thank you very
you
much.
know where to reach me.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. So, guys, that was Srivani, who had her point of view on what is artificial intelligence. And I think that example around potholes on the road, I think I remember I saw this one presentation by Toyota where what they were saying was that the cameras on the cars, they're able to actually monitor and find out the, the quality of the road and the potholes on the road upfront with all the data that they're collecting, and so that they don't get they don't have a problem with the routes and know where exactly the potholes are. That will take them to the next level of self-driving cars, so that even the kind of experience you have on a self-driving car is very comfortable, and you don't have that issue. I think that's where the world is going to. There are many such use cases, and there are more and more use cases as they're coming through in the AI space. If you've got a point of view on what is artificial intelligence, all you need to do is send me a direct message, and I will bring you on here, and you can share your point of view on what is artificial intelligence. But before I go, just one thing. Please, 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 if you're watching this on Twitter, please like and retweet this so more and more people can watch this episode and get learning from what Srivani had to say. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, then please press the subscribe button and the bell icon, And also share this video with as many people as you can so that more and more people can learn from Sreevani. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching this episode, and I'll see you very